Hi, Dr. Simeon Roger here, with a quick story about suboptimal organizations, about dysfunctional organizations. And this is one of my favorite stories, and it comes from Stephen Covey. Okay, so Stephen Covey at one point had the great privilege of visiting a US nuclear submarine. It was the USS Santa Fe, which, without actually having looked it up, I think was probably a Los Angeles class attack boat. Anyway, so this was probably about 20 years ago, and the Santa Fe was under a captain named David Marquette, who had a remarkable command style, literally an award winning command style. So, what would happen on this boat is that as Covey was on the bridge, a number of officers would, come to the captain throughout the day, and they would say things like, "Captain, I intend to dive the boat to 400 feet." The captain might say just very well, which is what he said to most intentions that his people had. I intend to do X, very well, which meant go ahead, right? And or he might ask questions. You intend to dive the boat to 400 feet? Well, okay, what's the depth under the keel? Oh, it's 800. You want to dive to 400? Go for it. Or it might be, let's run on the surface for another 10 minutes, then do it. Whatever it is. But what Covey became aware of is that there were a huge number of decisions being made on the ship that had nothing to do with the captain. The captain didn't have to approve them, they weren't even brought to his attention. And most decisions that were brought to his attention simply received the magic words, very well. So his people were incredibly empowered. And when Covey asked him about his leadership style, that's what he said. The intention was to empower the crew to the maximum. This would have several effects, obviously. It meant if anything happened to the captain, if he were incapacitated, it wouldn't matter because everybody else could run the ship as a combat system extremely effectively, just as effectively, probably, as with the captain there. Or it also meant that all of these people were capable of taking over various parts of the ship's functioning, if not the whole thing, on a moment's notice. Everybody was capable of commanding probably at least one level up without any problem whatsoever. So, what Captain Marquette had done was he had learned how to develop his people, which is the critical thing that leaders always miss, yet it's the one critical thing they're responsible for. If you want your business, for example, to run itself without you and drive your competition into the dust, you'd better develop your own people. Because most organizations have incredible people, people who are ready to contribute to the max, who are ready to take the business or the organization to the moon and back, and yet they're prevented from doing so because they have leaders who are not competent, not empowering them, who have devolved into managers, in fact, and poor managers at that, and who, in fact, have become the roadblock. So this was the opposite. It was a stellar experience of perfect leadership, really, of incredible leadership, and something people should strive to emulate in their organizations. So if in your organization, ask yourself, what's leadership like in your organization? Bet the answer won't be quite that impressive, but it's a very important question to ask nonetheless. I'm Dr. Simeon Roger. We'll be back again soon.